Can a country's factories, windows, and currency be so dependent on the future of a single trade agreement? For Mexico, this question is no longer theoretical. It is a current economic reality. On July 1st, 2026, the United States, Canada, and Mexico met for the first mandatory joint review of the USMCA. Had the parties fully approved the agreement's continuation, the USMCA would have been extended for a new 16-year term. However, the United States did not agree to this. The agreement has not ended, the borders have not closed, and tariff benefits remain in effect. However, because the parties could not agree on a long-term extension, the USMCA has now entered an annual joint review process. This cycle could continue until the parties reach an agreement or until the current agreement expires on July 1st, 2036. What the Mexican economy needed most has now vanished: long-term certainty. Every company considering setting up a factory in Mexico will now face the same questions. Will the rules change next year? Could the billions of dollars invested today turn into a costly mistake in a few years? The significance of these questions lies in a single figure. In 2025, trade in goods between the U.S. and Mexico reached approximately $872.8 billion. Of this, $338 billion consisted of U.S. exports to Mexico, and $534.9 billion consisted of imports from Mexico. The automobiles, machinery, electronic products, and industrial parts that Mexico sells have transformed North America into a massive, interconnected production line. The USMCA is not just another trade agreement for Mexico. It is the very foundation of the country's economic model. Moreover, this crisis did not emerge during a period of economic strength. Mexico grew by only 0.8% in 2025. Sectors including manufacturing, mining, and construction remained under pressure throughout the year, while services and agriculture prevented a contraction. Indicators at the start of 2026 also confirmed this fragility. Industrial production fell by 1.1% month-over-month in January, and by 1.3% year-over-year in February, while the manufacturing sector contracted by 2.3%. Forecasts from international organizations for 2026 also diverge. While the IMF projects 1.2% growth and the OECD forecasts 0.8%, Mexico's Ministry of Finance had announced a more optimistic projection of 1.8 to 2.8%, citing nearshoring investments and the World Cup. However, the extent to which the World Cup will provide a lasting contribution to the Mexican economy remains uncertain. Banks and financial institutions note that this divergence in forecasts reinforces investors' perception of uncertainty regarding the Mexican economy and could increase pressure on the peso. To understand today's crisis, we need to go back to 1994. Under NAFTA, Mexico transformed into one of North America's leading manufacturing hubs over the course of 30 years. The USMCA, which replaced it in 2020, introduced much stricter conditions regarding the automotive sector, worker wages, rules of origin, and environmental issues. Now, Mexico's greatest advantage is also its greatest vulnerability: its proximity to and dependence on the United States. In this video, we'll examine how the USMCA crisis could affect automotive plants, foreign investment, and the peso, who stands to gain and who stands to lose, and the two economic scenarios ahead. Because at stake is not just the future of a single agreement, but the future of the economic model Mexico has built over the past 30 years. The automotive sector is at the center of the USMCA review. The agreement requires that the regional content ratio be gradually increased to 75% for vehicles to qualify for duty-free treatment, and that at least 70% of the steel and aluminum be sourced from North America. Additionally, under the labor value content rule, 40 to 45% of a vehicle's value must consist of parts produced by workers earning at least $16 per hour. Since many facilities in Mexico fall below this wage threshold, manufacturers are being forced to either increase their investments in engineering and technology or shift production to facilities with higher wages. Washington has made it clear that it wants to further tighten rules of origin. The goal is to make it more difficult for inputs from non-market economies, such as China, to enter the U.S. market indirectly via Mexico. This issue is particularly significant for electric vehicle batteries, critical minerals, steel, and aluminum. Labor rights are also a key part of the negotiations. The USMCA's rapid response mechanism allows for the prompt initiation of investigations into union rights violations, and the U.S. side is calling for the expansion of this mechanism. Throughout 2026, U.S.-Mexico talks have addressed automotive rules of origin, steel, aluminum, and economic security. Canada joined the trilateral review on July 1st, but subsequent negotiations have largely proceeded in the form of U.S.-Mexico bilateral rounds. The third round will take place in Mexico City during the week of July 20th. The 25% automotive tariff imposed by the U.S. in 2025 poses a separate cost risk. However, it is not accurate to say that vehicles compliant with the USMCA are completely exempt. When manufacturers document the U.S. content share of their vehicles, the tariff applies only to the value of non-U.S. content. In other words, USMCA compliance provides a significant advantage, but it does not entirely eliminate the tariff risk. Mexico exported approximately 3,386,000 light vehicles in 2025. 78.4% of these went to the U.S. Therefore, any change in rules of origin or tariffs could directly affect production volume, employment, and export revenues. Added to this is institutional risk. Mexico's judicial reform took effect in September 2024. On June 1, 2025, for the first time in the country's history, federal judges and Supreme Court justices were elected by popular vote. While supporters argue that this will reduce corruption, critics believe the judiciary will become more vulnerable to political influence and pressure from organized crime. The U.S. government, rating agencies, and some foreign investors view this reform as a source of uncertainty regarding the enforceability of contracts. Questions about how commercial contract disputes will be handled by this restructured judicial system create a layer of institutional risk that cannot be eliminated by tax incentives alone. This is a factor that increases contract risk for the banking and finance sectors. At first glance, the foreign direct investment table appears contradictory. Mexico attracted a record $40.87 billion in investment in 2025, representing a 10.8% increase over the previous year. In the first quarter of 2026, the figure reached $23.591 billion, and the country rose from 25th to 19th place in the Kearney Confidence Index. However, approximately $22.222 billion of this amount came from existing companies reinvesting their profits. New capital from greenfield projects, meanwhile, remained at just $1.705 billion. According to consulting firm data, new project announcements also fell by 78% compared to the same period last year. Only 22 projects, totaling $2.63 billion, were announced, whereas the figure for the January to April 2025 period was $14.6 billion. It is important to note that announcements and actual official investment flows are not the same thing. A project may be announced but could be postponed or canceled. During the same period, the Mexican government also took a cautious approach toward Chinese origin investments to avoid jeopardizing the USMCA negotiations. In other words, capital is not fleeing the country, but new capital is waiting until the final form of the USMCA becomes clear. This situation is affecting the peso in two ways. On the one hand, record high investment and strong exports, according to Morgan Stanley. Mexico's manufacturing exports to the U.S. are set to increase by $150 billion from 2021 to 2025, reaching $535 billion, are supporting the peso. On the other hand, trade uncertainty, low growth, and concerns about public finances could weaken the peso. Remittances fell by 7.5% year over year in July 2025. This revenue stream, which accounted for 3.5% of gross domestic product in 2024, declined by 4.6% for the full year 2025, dropping to $61.8 billion. Two scenarios stand out for the coming period. In the optimistic scenario, during the Mexico round, the parties make progress on automotive, steel, and aluminum issues. A roadmap is established for the long-term extension of the USMCA, and uncertainty surrounding the annual review decreases. In this scenario, postponed investments could move forward, nearshoring could regain momentum, and the peso could stabilize, supported by strong exports and investment. BBVA Research had raised its growth forecast to 1.8% in March 2026. Following the first quarter contraction, these forecasts were revised downward, meaning the optimistic scenario is possible but not certain. In this scenario, banking and financial circles may view Mexico as a leading investment hub in the automotive, electronics, semiconductor, and pharmaceutical sectors. In a pessimistic scenario, negotiations stall, and the annual review becomes a source of persistent uncertainty. Companies postpone new factory investments, and the decline in investment announcements continues. Low growth, pressure on public finances, and support for Pemex could combine to make the peso vulnerable to depreciation. Banxico may face a difficult choice between cutting interest rates and maintaining exchange rate stability. In such an environment, investors' shift toward gold and other safe haven assets could accelerate outflows from emerging market currencies and raise the risk premium on Mexican bonds. Volatility in oil prices could also complicate the picture. While high prices boost export revenues, they could also increase subsidy costs due to Mexico's fuel imports and domestic price supports. The actual picture will likely fall somewhere between these two extremes. Mexico's strongest assets are its geographic location, established industrial infrastructure, experienced manufacturing workforce, and proximity to the U.S. market. Its greatest risks include slow growth, institutional uncertainty, investor concerns regarding judicial reform, and protracted negotiations. The talks scheduled for the week of July 20th may not resolve everything on their own, but the messages conveyed will indicate whether the parties are moving closer to an agreement or entering a prolonged period of uncertainty. How do you view this situation? Will Mexico emerge from this period of uncertainty with a stronger economy, or will its dependence on the U.S. market overshadow the opportunities presented by nearshoring? Share your thoughts in the comments. After all, the future of the USMCA will determine not only the fate of a trade agreement, but also whether the economic model Mexico has built over the past 30 years will survive.